Phoebe will be the first 5-star characters in Wuthering that allow you to play as both main DPS and sub DPS, and in just 5 minutes, I'll be covering how to play both of these playstyles very quickly today, so subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Phoebe is a Spectro character that have 2 modes: Absolution, her main DPS mode, or Confession, her sub DPS mode. The first thing you'll notice is that she has 2 forte circuit bar. Starting with the bottom forte circuit bar, this is filled on a timer, and whenever it is full, you can choose to enter either Absolution mode by doing a heavy basic attack, or Confession mode by holding your resonance skill button. This forte circuit is filled based on a timer, and when it is not full, I suggest you simply switch to your support or sub DPS to prepare the skill instead. Once you have chosen a mode to enter, it will fill up the top forte circuit bar, which is going to be the resource we now use to consume to do more damage. Fortunately, the combo in both cases is very similar. Your main combo is going to be attack 3 times and then do a heavy attack, and you will see that this will consume the top forte circuit bar to do more damage. The biggest difference is that the main DPS mode, Absolution, simply do more damage, while the sub DPS mode, Confession, is focused on stacking the Spectro frazzled effect instead. The Spectro frazzled effect is something they added in the brand new 2.0 patch, and certain Spectro characters like the Spectro Rover can stack this up by doing specific attack. Basically, it just do damage as long as there's stacks on the enemy, and it does a bunch of damage and do more damage the more stack there is. So your idea is that you want to stack up a bunch of Spectro frazzled as soon as possible, and then maintain that Spectro frazzled with Spectro characters like Phoebe or Spectro Rover. Phoebe's skill summon a ring that allows you to bounce your basic attack around enemy within the ring, again to teleport yourself inside the ring. However, most importantly, notice that this ring actually have very good utility when you summon it. It freezes and staggers the enemy, and most importantly is that it actually groups the enemy when you attack them in the ring. Finally, her ultimate liberation does 2 things depending on the mode you're in. If you're in the DPS Absolution mode, it just does a bunch of more damage. If you're in the sub DPS Confession mode, then it will apply a lot of Spectro frazzled when you hit it, and you want to cast this at the beginning of your combo. It is worth noting that Phoebe has a special mid-air attack that allows you to move faster to reposition. You can cast this up to 4 times by doing it twice in a row, and then dodging to reset the twice in a row counter. Now, while this character looks very complicated, it is actually very simple. You want to start with an intro, and then enter your Absolution mode or Confession mode by either doing a heavy attack or holding your resonance skills, depending on how you're playing her. From here on, your combo is mostly the same. You want to start with casting a resonance skills, group the enemies together, cast your ultimate liberation immediately to get that effect off to do a bunch of damage, as well as your bonus on the Confession mode, and then your main combo here is going to be attack 1, 2, 3 time, charge attack. 1, 2, 3 time, charge attack. And again, if you're in Confession mode, do this twice. If you're in Absolution mode, do this 4 times. If you're playing Absolution main DPS mode, you can actually get a second skill cast at the very end, and then you want to do Echo Swap Out. It is worth noting that her outro do different things based on your mode. In DPS Absolution mode, it just does more damage, while in sub DPS, the Confession mode, it empowers your Spectro frazzled damage as well as decrease the enemy Spectro damage resistance. For this build, we're going to be going for the Nightmare Morning Axe Echo, simply because it is the best. It empowers the damage dealt by Spectro Frazzles, as well as giving you a 12% Spectro damage bonus. For our weapon of choice, the new Rectifier signature weapon Luminous Hum is going to be the best for her. Otherwise, using any good Rectifier that have a good stat 6 like Yin 5-star weapon will also be really good. Now, in the brand new 2.1 patch, there's actually a new free 4-star weapon called Ocean Gift, which is a really good option for her if you don't have other choices, just because it also increases her Spectral damage against enemies that are infected with Spectral Fuzzles. For your Echo set, in both cases, either if you're playing her as a main DPS or sub DPS, I would suggest using the Eternal Radiance Echo set, simply because it interacts with Spectral Fuzzles and it gives you a bunch of Spectral damage bonus as well as critical rate. For our main stat, just like always, for 4 costs, crit rate or crit damage would be good. 3 costs, attack or Spectral damage percent, and then 1 cost, we're going to be using that attack percent as always. And then finally, for our substat, just like always, prioritizing double crit, either crit rate or crit damage, followed by either attack or flat attack. Finally, basic attack or heavy attack or energy recharge will work as your final substat. Don't focus too much on it. Talent priority wise, Grabbing the second inherent skills that give you Spectro damage will be the most important, and then we're gonna level up our Forte circuit, followed by Resonance skills, finally followed by Liberation. You can kind of omit the basic attack and intro, you can level them if you like, but most importantly, know that the actual basic attack is not really used. When you're attacking enemy within her Resonance skills, the ring, you'll actually convert your basic attack into a special bouncy attack that scale off your Resonance skill instead, so you can kind of omit leveling the normal attack if you want to. For team composition, if you're playing her as a main DPS, you can try to use Sanhua. She do a good amount of basic attack damage. However, the team I suggest you to run is going to be running her as a sub DPS with Spectro Rover, simply because the Spectro frazzled interaction is just really good. So going with Spectro Rover plus Phoebe as a sub DPS is going to be the best in my opinion. Finally, of course, follow up with the first slot with a default support characters like Shorekeeper or Verena. Finally, for her sequence, they are all pretty much just damage or stat increase. Like for example, her sequence they just simply give her critical rate of 50%. So in my opinion, her sequence are all pretty underwhelming. They're just like stat increase, they don't really like changes anything. Mostly just for like if you want your character to do really big damage, they can wail for them. Good luck on your poll. If you like the video, you'll win your 50-50, and if you subscribe, you'll get her early. So do those 3 things, and then see you guys later.